We've been powering the American road since before it was paved. Our first breakthrough in motor oil was introducing it. And we've been reinventing it ever since. From the world's first high-mileage oil to the world's first synthetic blend. There are those who change with the times, and those who drive them. Valvoline, the original motor oil.
The Falken RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken RT660.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race-proven and street-legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPeuro.com using the code ALPINE at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
What about a pizza delivery?
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
Pikes Peak International Raceway is at the highest altitude of any track that GRIDLIFE visits. A perfect place then for the highest stakes of the weekend for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup and the qualifying shootout. The top 8 drivers from yesterday's race 2 get 1 lap entirely to themselves. All eyes will be watching as they get a single opportunity to lay down a fast lap to qualify for race 3 later today. 9 corners, 1.3 miles without a single mistake. That's the expectation to start on the front row for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside an exhausted Tom O'Gorman, who is caught up coaching some stuff, coaching some drivers. He's here. He's breathing hard, but welcome. High altitude, Tom.
Yeah,
I'll
and also, I guess maybe not going to a gym for a year is a bad idea, but this is my favorite part of watching this stream. This is our opportunity to see the cars work on the track, and last year's was at night. Everybody was lit up. It looked awesome. Today we get to actually see them hopping curbs. We get to see the car working in these hot conditions.
Well, take a breath. He just came sprinting up here. I was calling him. He was doing important things, teaching people how to go fast. The people on the grid getting ready to go fast, though, Tom, they've got 1 lap to get it all right. We've seen the track this weekend, be a little bit different in how it raced compared to last year. There are more larger displacement cars that are really utilizing this front straightaway. It's turned into a little bit of a drag race, but now all things equal, you've got this kind of handling section here in the infield that the slower cars, without any traffic, without any aero wash, without any of that stuff, they can just focus on going fast. So this is going to be a little bit of an equalizer, I would think. Also, as we're at 11:07 a.m. here in Mountain Time, as the session goes on, the track time's going to creep up a little bit, so the drivers a little bit later might have a very slight disadvantage.
And the key with that is they run an inverse order from yesterday's finishing order. So our fastest driver from yesterday, or actually our winning driver from yesterday's race, not necessarily the fastest, Jeremy Swenson, gets to go last. So he gets those hottest track conditions. Whether that's maybe 1 or 2 degrees, it's probably not much, but it is going to be something.
So again, yesterday, race number 1 was a wild collection of chaos, especially at the front end of the race. The first couple laps were pretty exciting, especially getting off of the oval into the infield section. Race 2, weird conditions, a little bit of rain that cooled the track down and kind of kept everybody from really attacking the racetrack and racing hard. So race 2 was a little bit calmer, but I think with the weather looking a little bit better today, I think the chaos that we're going to see later today is going to be rivaling that of race 1, potentially even more chaotic.
Well, race 2, as you mentioned, there was not a lot of passing. There was a lot lot of single file, but for us here in the booth especially, and we talked to a lot of the drivers afterwards, and it was a very intense setting because it was raining the entire time. We were seeing it on camera, and we were so confused. How is everybody going so fast? And basically what happened is the track had so much ambient temp in it from it being dry and sunny all day that it was basically evaporating and cooling the surface the moment the raindrops hit the ground. The track is dry, getting actively cooled. All of a sudden, it's really fast.
So we're again at Pikes Peak International Raceway. This track was built in 1997. It was run by the Indy Racing League and NASCAR for a handful of years. It's 1.3 miles around 9 corners. We'll have a look at our track map here momentarily. It's a tale of two racetracks here, Tom. You've got this power section from the exit at turn 9 all the way through the front straightaway, off into turn 2. You do the slight kink, then you're on the brakes, and then it's this tight kind of slalom section, sort of like an autocross course.
Slalom. I like that. Yeah, so we were watching our blip around the map. We have turn 1 is the entire NASCAR banking, and right about there is a giant bump. So that's going to be really interesting to navigate. It makes things interesting side by side and wheel to wheel more than anything, but GLTC cars mostly flat out all the way to the braking zone right there for turn 2. It's a pinch point wheel to wheel as well. Then, as you mentioned, that hairpins at turns 3 and 4, right between second and third gear for most cars, and then the curb hopping section. It's kind of like downhill skiing moguls. You really got to use the curbs to your advantage, but they can bite as well before you get back up onto that front straightaway, at turn 9.
So that's a lap here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Takes you just over a minute. We saw drivers yesterday in the 102 range, even with the water, as you mentioned. Qualifying times, though, yesterday morning were in the 101 range. So I think we're going to see more of that, provided that this is a little cooler than it was on Friday morning. So I think we're going to see times be even a little bit quicker. But first up, Joel Morrison, the number 71. You see him there in the green and black 9 Lives Racing S2000. He's had a heck of a weekend so far. Had some contact in race 1, then had something break in race 2. He's repaired that car. Also, I got a correction on the motor. That is the F-Series motor in that car, but it has a K bottom end. So it's kind of a mix of both. So just a little clarification. But he's been fast. But just like Eric Jensen, he's been a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, and I think that of the drivers we're looking at, those are the 8 cars we're going to watch qualify one by one. We've taken the finishing results from yesterday's race. The top 8 get a chance to re-qualify rather than starting the grid the way they finished yesterday. They have a big opportunity to shake things up and reset the grid. And the driver on the list of 8 in front of us, I think that has the biggest opportunity is Joel Morrison, because he's been more or less the 3rd or 4th fastest car the entire weekend. But as you mentioned, a little bit of misfortune here and there has put him 8th on the grid. So he gets to see the track first, but he can also move himself maybe from as far as 8th down on the starting grid all the way up to maybe 3rd or higher.
So how competitive is this? Well, I was down in the Myriad Motorsports paddock this morning. Tiffany Kelly had a little tiny gurney flap about 1 centimeter high on the rear wing. She pulled that off. It was double-sided taped onto the car. They were using a heat gun to peel that gurney flap off. They seem to think that it'll get them 2 to 3 miles an hour. She said that she was topping out at 113, which is about 6 to 7 miles an hour off of the fastest car. So if that is a significant adjustment, we're about to find out.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool here with GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. There is not active balance of performance. We're not changing what the cars are supposed to be able to do race to race like you might see in other series, but there is a power to weight built into everything. And if you can maximize that power to weight, you're absolutely going to be one of the more competitive cars. And part of that is taking data on these cars at all times. So the race stewards and the series are putting these data boxes in cars at all times, and we can actually have results after that from the data that says Tiffany Kelly is 5 miles an hour down on the next fastest car. And Tiffany might be able to find that out and find out, hey, I need to go a little faster in a straight line. Let's take that gurney flap off.
Well, just for a little bit of context, I was down in the paddock kind of getting some ideas of where people were with corner entry speed into the braking zone for turn number 3. I talked to Ben Thorne in Club TR, 117. That's pretty similar to what the highest speed GLTC cars are doing. I talked to Ferris Khartoumi. He broke the overall track record here this morning, a 53.2. He was doing 168 miles an hour off into turn 3. So that just gives you, that's the difference between 200 horsepower and 1200 horsepower. But 120 is still hauling pretty good off into that corner.
Yeah, it is. And the braking point is essentially the curb that's on your left as you come down into that section. So the closer and further you can get down into that braking zone, not only the faster you likely will be able to go, but the better racecraft you're going to be able to have, which we saw Jeremy Swenson use to his advantage. There's the curb on the bottom right of your screen, that little kink. If you can get all the way down or even past that, you're going to be able to make some moves down into turn number 3.
So I think Joel Morrison just is about to get the go-ahead to roll if he hasn't already. So he will be the first driver up. Then it'll be Nick Steniford, Jake Jorenstad, Tiffany Kelly, Jeremy Boysen, Justin Kelly, Brian Heitkotter, and Jeremy Swenson will be the top 8 drivers from race 2 that will get a chance to run in reverse order, slowest to fastest, but that doesn't mean they're going to qualify that way, Tom. We know that Joel Morrison's car is faster than he placed, and you see him rolling off the pit lane now, warming up the tires, warming up the brakes, Tom. You get 1 lap, 1 shot, about 1 minute and 2 seconds to get this right.
And the flip side of that is we know Joel Morrison's car is very consistent over a race distance, but it was not the fastest. It was actually over a second off the fastest lap time set by Jeremy Swenson back in Brian Heitkotter back in qualifying. So the cars that can turn it on quick are really going to be rewarded with that. I'm looking at Jeremy Swenson's car. I'm looking at maybe Jeremy Boysen's cars. He's running a treaded street tire that tends to do really well right out of the box versus a car that's nice and consistent like the 9 Lives Racing S2000 you're looking at on screen. That car may not have the outright pace, but it certainly has the consistency. So if Joel can even get himself up into the front 2 rows, maybe up from 8th to 4th or 3rd, he's going to do himself a lot of favors with that.
So rolling through the backside of the racetrack now and up onto the exit of turn number 9, climbing up onto the banking, Joel Morrison in the number 71 9 Lives Racing car is taking the green flag for the GLTC Shootout here at Pikes Peak International Raceway across the start-finish line, zooming by us here in the booth. Off into turn 1 here, Tom. Big bump in the center of this corner. He's got to settle that car before he slams into the bump.
And watch what this bump does. If we get it just in time through the middle of the banking, he's probably passed it already, but he is flat out all the way to the track out wall, down into that braking zone we talked about for turn 3.
And then through the kink at turn number 3, right, you see the hood flapping on that car with all the air going over the nose. Into turn 3, he's going to round the corner and move to turn number 4. Down into turn 4 now. He's going to try to cut this real tight on the inside apex here, Tom, and then head through that slalom section, as we mentioned. Jump the curbs as high and as aggressively as he can to try to shorten this up. But so far, pretty composed looking.
All the way out, tracking out of turn 5, jumping the curb there. He got the left sides inside the curb, cutting distance out there as we chase him. He's too fast for the camera guys even as he cuts the distance out of the entry to turn 8. Up onto the banking from turn 9. It looked pretty composed, but what can he do? Will he be able to move himself up the grid?
Across the line for Joel Morrison, his chance at pole here in the GLTC Shootout. Across the line, what's it going to be? A 1:03.779. That's a pretty decent time. I'm not sure it'll be pole, but we'll see where it stacks up.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to be good enough for pole, but I think that's going to be good enough for top 5. So I think that we'll call that a W for Joel Morrison as we watched Nick Steniford also pulling out onto the track. He's going to be our next car. Finished 7th yesterday, back from, I want to say he started 10th or 11th even. So we had a really great race in the rain yesterday, and he's already coming up for that flying lap.
Here we go. Green flag now for Nick Steniford in the number 87 S2000 across the start-finish line. He will take the green flag now. Speeds climbing up well north of triple digits here off into the corner. And again, watch for that bump here, Tom. This is what everyone's going to be balancing here. Thankfully, you're not side by side with anybody. Right here, he's going to slam down over the bump and head on to the backstretch for turn number 3. Just a little bit of a kink here, and then you're going to brake as late as you can. Look at the speed he's carrying, almost 120 miles an hour on the brakes. Aim for the inside curb. Very composed. Not looking incredibly aggressive at the moment. We'll see where he stacks up. This infield section, Tom, it's hard to pass, but you can make up a lot of time in there.
It is. We'll see if he dives down. No, he goes for the really late apex, turns in super late. Big rotation on the way in for the 87 car. Actually misses the late apex just a little bit. That's going to cost him, but tracks her out into this slalom section. How much of the curb does he use? Much less than Joel Morrison.
Yeah, not a ton. And we'll see a right-hander. There's a lot more. There's 4 tires up and over as he rolls through turn 6 and 7 and out into turn 9. A little bit wide. Oh, I think he's washed out a little bit too much perhaps there, but across the line now he needs to beat a 1:03.779 to be on provisional pole here in the shootout. And Nick Steniford across the line. 1:03.943. He'll go second quick.
That's a solid lap. I did not actually expect that to be quite as quick as it was. We saw him scrabble just a little bit for grip in turn 4. He used a lot of distance on the way off of turn 9, but it paid off. He was able to get that car rolling and finish that lap at a really stout 1:03.9.
Here is Jake Jorenstad of the Myriad Motorsports Camp. Big rear end slide coming out of turn 9, so he's getting the power down as he climbs up onto the banking. This car is very similar to Felipe Gonzalez, but Jorenstad's had better results this weekend as he sails by us on the start-finish straight. This is going to be a car that'll have some pretty good top end as well. And curious to see different lines on the banking, Tom. Is there any advantage to running a wider line on the banking?
Well, it's a question of speed versus distance, and the GLTC cars, as you mentioned, in comparison to a car like Ferris Khartoumi, are not that fast. So if you can cut a little bit of distance off of that banking, it's going to pay you dividends. He sets up nice and wide, deep on the brakes. Whoa, he's really deep in there. Sets up nice and wide, almost all the way out to the grass, but then gets it down to the apex. Jake Jornstad tacks her up towards turn number 4, and the car looks nice and composed. And if you're watching for the first time, no, GLTC is not Spec S2000. It's just a bunch of them in a row.
There's a whole bunch. They were basically from Tiffany. Actually, the first 4 cars are all S2000s. Whoa, big slide for Jornstad at the exit at turn 4. He's getting after it now, up and over the curbs now through the S's. He's certainly got power for the rear wheels. He's got to control that, though, Tom. Wheel spin and sliding isn't necessarily how you go fast. It's how you have fun, though.
Stays off the curb at turn 7, and then another big slide coming through turn 9, up all the way to the wall. Does he dive low to cut some distance? No, he's going to stay high, try to keep the speed up and across the start-finish line.
We'll see if he goes provisional pole. Jake Jornstad for Myriad Motorsports, 104.456. I think the sliding cost him a ton of time, especially in turn 9 there, Tom. Whoop, there's Tiffany Kelly. I don't know if she was warming up and had cold tires or what, but that was a bit of a moment.
Yeah, it looks like some really aggressive tire warming going on, and that's kind of the key. These race tires that most of the drivers are running on really need quite a bit of heat. They may not run their fast lap until lap 3, 4, or 5 in a race. They only have one warm-up lap, and you got to be pretty much going flat out at this point to get set up. So the V6 powered J35 S2000, Tiffany Kelly at the wheel, I think that's pretty smart strategic planning for a fast lap. She does not use a lot of distance coming onto this lap, though, as she sets up for the green flag.
I find it fascinating that everyone so far has gone slower, so I'm curious to see who's going to go faster than Joel Morrison. Tiffany Kelly across the line, off into turn 1. She's going to run a little bit higher and kind of arc it in a little bit. I like that, Tom, to keep that corner speed up, not to scrub those tires so much. That's the NASCAR line through 1 and 2, and that we'll see if that works out for her. Again, she made that gurney flap adjustment, tore that piece off the wing to try to get some top end. We're not going to know how fast she's going, but she certainly looks like she's hauling.
You see on the opposite side of the track from Jake Jornstad, there she is down into turn number 3. Couldn't see if she was taking a wide apex, but huge slide. That did not pay off for Jake. I don't know that it's going to work for her either, but she keeps the foot in it.
Yeah, that was a little bit wide. She was understeering and then used power to compensate to try to get the car back down. That's going to cost her
Car looks
dearly.
really pushy there, too. Look at how much steering angle she has to use just to get through the corner. That car not very happy right now, I don't think. And I will say, in general, with as hot as it is, there's probably not many people on the property here that are very happy with how their cars are handling. But it's the same conditions for everyone. She gets it through turns 8 and 9, right up to the curb. That looks nice and clean out of the front straightaway. Maybe she can make up for it.
Yeah, that slide out of turn 3 was pretty catastrophic, though. We'll see if she can at least get ahead of Myriad Motorsport teammate Jake Jornstad. Tiffany across the line, 104.823 slower still. So we have yet to see anybody go quicker than Joel Morrison, so the worst he's going to start is 5th.
And this is fascinating. We basically have an invert happening right here. Joel Morrison was 8th, Seneford was 7th, Jornstad 6th, Kelly was 5th, finishing yesterday's race. They have flipped that perfectly from top to bottom. So this is a big shakeup here in the GLTC Shootout. Now this car will be very interesting. It's a very fast in a straight line car, Acura RSX with Jeremy Boysen at the wheel. He's running a treaded tire that is considered a race tire, but it's really fast out of the box. He only needs them to last 1 lap, so he can beat on him big time with that front-wheel drive car. Now this track does not cater to front-wheel drive particularly well, but there's a great overhead view. Boom, big bump right there. He chooses the middle line where the bump is a little bit less aggressive, and maybe the Yokohama treaded street race tire will help him just a little bit in this one.
Looking very solid so far, off into the braking zone for turn number 3. So far, so good. Locked up big time in race 1 yesterday. Has it nicely controlled this time through. And again, with that street tire, doesn't require as much temperature to heat it up, so off into turn 4. So far, so good here, Tom.
Very clean exit there in turn 3, which actually we saw from race 2 worked really well for Jeremy Swenson. Jeremy Boysen now driving his RSX. Again, a nice clean exit, not using all the track, but I think he's using his forward momentum really well here in this lap. Hops the curbs, car looks nice and compliant. Does he make it to the second curb? Yes, very clean. Look at it hook at turn 7. Now sets up so wide, tons of distance on the way in, but a late apex, he's going to get on throttle super early up that banking.
That was one of the cleanest laps we've seen. We'll see where it stacks up. Needs to beat a 103.779 to go to provisional pole. Across the line, here comes Jeremy Boysen, and he goes 3rd quick, a 104.160.
Right in the middle, so that is 3rd overall right now. Which means Jornstad and Kelly are looking like they might have been the big droppers on the starting grid. Now we have another Kelly. This is Justin Kelly in another V6 J35 powered. This is Scion FRS, though. On his warm-up, he is not taking the Tiffany Kelly approach of going strategic tire warming. He's going full send already, coming onto the flying lap.
This is a car that won a race here last year and won a couple races the year prior as well. So Justin Kelly, he's been winless for a while. Ever since they swapped these motors in, they have not found their way back to victory lane as of late. So they're looking for another another one here across the line to start his lap, and we'll see what line he chooses. All the way up by the NASCAR wall. He's going to run way high on the entry, and now down to the white line at the exit of NASCAR 2. That's about the most aggressive drop we've seen so far.
Yeah, that was a very high line. And these guys, while he's on the back straight and we have a second, these guys actually took the time to come to a dyno at altitude. They retuned the cars, I think he said over 100 pulls to make sure that they were making power up at altitude. So you can guarantee this car should be nice and healthy, but big power down. It's not going to work for him again. These Myriad cars maybe a little too stiff in the rear end or something to make them not so great off the corners. But he's keeping it nice and tidy through turn 3, even climbs the inside of that curb. I like the way that looks.
Whoa, way out. He's going to almost clip the cones at the exit of turn 4, maximizing everything he can. Got to keep 2 tires within the white lines. I think he might have had them there, but that was about as much racetrack as you're going to be allowed to use. Through turn 9, Justin Kelly absolutely getting after it. Now climbing up onto the banking again. Again, the 103.779 is provisional pole. That's Joel Morrison. Kelly stays low across the line. And Justin Kelly, provisional pole, 103.2.
So our 2 fastest cars left to go. Both of these cars have been pretty much untouchable on raw pace, but they are very different in the way they're going to make their speed. They're very different in the tires running as well. We have a full race tire, no tread on these ones for Brian Heitkotter. That is the 05 Chris Forsberg Racing 370Z. Jeremy Swenson is a little intimidated by this car. He thinks he's been getting a little bit of luck to help him win the races so far, but he thinks it's only a matter of time before Heitkotter picks up a win this weekend and he takes the green flag.
Well, Heitkotter has been the fastest car here. He just hasn't been the one to win. Those two things don't always align. Through 1 and 2, and again, this is an area that Heitkotter tried running wingless on Friday. He said that car felt very unstable without it, so he elected to put the wing back on. Now at the exit of NASCAR 2, into the kink again, on the brakes hard. This car in the past has had some anti-lock braking issues. Very composed this time through, though. The infield is where this car would be a little bit weaker relative to those S2000s, using every bit of the racetrack at the exit of 3.
Nice neutral steer, driving the car off the corner with the rear end, but no counter steer required. Look at the early dive in, cutting distance like a skid pad out of this corner. I like that approach to that corner. Tracks her out, just out to the white line, and now into the curb section.
Here we go, dancing over the curbing. Like places like Sonoma and Sebring, where you get up on top of the curbs and really try to maximize the racetrack. Heitkotter doing the same, clips the apex nicely in turn 9, now climbs up. That's going to be a very, very solid lap, almost visibly quicker. Let's see how good it is. Needs to be to 103.294, cuts the distance on the front stretch, and Heitkotter easily pole by over a second, 101.953.
And that's within about a 1/10 of a second of his fastest lap from the weekend, so he did a fantastic job setting that one up with only 1 lap to prep. Now our fastest car theoretically coming into the shootout, Jeremy Swenson, race winner from race 1 and 2. He has not been the fastest car on lap time, though, and look at him setting up nice and wide, extending the straightaway leading up to the green flag, but he did have a lot of opposite lock coming onto the front straightaway.
So Jeremy Swenson has been one of the drivers that I've noticed is running the inside of the front straightaway. He's trying to cut that distance. He tracks out kind of a little bit wider than arcs it in, kind of a peculiar line, kind of in, out, in as he heads off into turns 1 and 2. But that thing is a rocket ship. It just looks visibly fast on the straights.
Now this car also running a treaded street tire, so it gets to have a little bit of a cut on power to weight, and it is very, very fast everywhere. Really good on the brakes as well, deep down into turn number 3. Heitkotter just in front of him, cooling down. Maybe a little bit of a rabbit to chase. Look at the neutral steer off that corner. That looked beautiful as well. Swenson now powering towards turn 4.
Swenson has been so composed this weekend, very few mistakes, and that's what's allowed him to stay out front in front of Heitkotter. Now at the exit of turn 4, how much is he going to use the power? You can see him tracking out pretty tight. He stays all 4 tires inside the white line. Now up on top of the curbs, attacking beautifully. 4 tires up and over there. Misses the curb there on apex, but he's been avoiding that one all weekend long. Now through 9, tracks out wide. Apex is late, and this will be a great run.
Yeah, it's definitely been his MO to kind of strategically place the car through those last couple of corners to keep it more composed, and also use the forward momentum of that car more through the lap than the lateral momentum. He's not been using as much track, but he goes to pole, 101.8. That's a new PB for him, and he takes the top spot again. That's the first time the Purple Corvette has truly been the fastest car for GLTC this weekend, and he earned it.
Jeremy Swenson, a 101.858, beats Heitkotter by a 1/10 of a second to win pole for race number 3 later today. That'll be at 3:10 Mountain Time here at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Fountain, Colorado. What a lap by Swenson, but again, he's just been so composed all weekend long. If Heitkotter can find a chink in the armor, I think he could get the blade through here, Tom, but he's just been unable to find a weakness in Swenson so far.
So essentially no change in our top 3 from race finishing order yesterday. Swenson, Heitkotter, Kelly were the top 3 at the checkered flag. They're going to be the top 3 at the green flag today. But then big shakeups behind. Joel Morrison gets the job done up to the second row from 8th on the finishing order yesterday. Then Nick Stennifer, that's also a fantastic effort from 7th up to 5th. Jeremy Boysen stays pretty much put, actually drops a couple of positions from 4th to 6th now in the shootout. Jornstad and Kelly will bring up that 4th row when we take the green in a couple of hours' time. So the front looking pretty similar, but pretty interesting mix-ups there from 4th to 8th.
I want to bring up something that we haven't mentioned yet. One of the drivers that probably should have been in this top 8 shootout was Eric Jensen. He was running 4th on the white flag lap in both the first 2 races. Got crashed out of race 1, broke an axle in race number 2. He's since replaced that. He will be starting at the tail of the field for race number 3. But with the starts he's been getting, if you want a car to watch the white or the black and red FRS from the tail of the field. I bet you he'll have half the field passed by the time they get to turn 3.
I would put money on that bet as well. That's going to be a ton of fun to watch, so definitely many reasons to tune in for race number 3. And then as a quick reminder, race number 4, we invert the top number of cars up to, it could be a full field invert at this event. We always make it interesting for race number 4, so you're not going to want to miss either of those.
Definitely don't miss those things. We've got Time Attack coming up here in just a couple minutes. Back here at FCP Euro Race HQ, I'm Kyle Heyer alongside Tom O'Gorman. I think for Time Attack, Tom, you got anywhere to be? Would you want to do Time Attack?
I can stay right here.
All right,
I just caught my breath. I don't want to go anywhere.
All right, let's make that the plan, and we're going to step away for a couple minutes. We'll be right back. GRIDLIFE Touring Cup is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. Falken Tire. Falken Tires. Competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. Hawk Brakes. Race-proven, street-legal. And by Valvoline. Valvoline VR1, available at Advanced Auto Parts stores. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift.
Hey, we still on this weekend for a little?
You know it. I'm in desperate need of some.
What about you, Jim?
No, my sister's getting the wedding. She's getting married, so.
When adventure calls, make sure you're ready to answer. STA-BIL 360 ethanol treatment is specifically formulated for year-round use, so your engines will be ready when you are. Ready, willing, stable.
The next generation of auto detailing is here, where simplicity meets performance. 303 Graphene Nanospray Coating. Get a year of protection from a powerful graphene oxide formula. A formula that sends water flying off surfaces, keeping water spots at bay. Go beyond wax, beyond ceramic. Graphene Nanospray Coating from 303.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPEuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
Welcome back, everybody, to GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Day 2. Second time attack session of today. Had a few times fall down this morning. A couple of people improving. Ferris Khartoumi, a slight improvement to a 53.2. Not sure if Alex Moss improved, but still a 58.7, a very fast time. Street Mod first place for the weekend so far. Group A about to roll out onto the track. Beautiful day out here.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Coming into session number 5, we have a very unique challenge here at Alpine Horizon for time attack because it is so hot here and the sun just bakes the surface.
Yeah.
These time attack guys basically come in knowing we've got Friday morning, we've got Saturday morning, and we've got Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
And if we blow it in any of those sessions and don't get a lap, things really might not come back to them. So a number of the drivers set their fastest laps this morning, and it was a blast to watch how many of these cars improved. I can tell you for sure, Ferris Khartoumi resetting, I think, what is the overall track record here for any amount of road course time attack, whatever you want to call it, at that 53 seconds, 0.2, with a top speed of 168 miles an hour coming off of the banking. Just unbelievably fast in that car, and it still looked like it had more in it because I know he was saying, I know I can do a 52, I know I can do a 52. So he might be the first to say he can still go quicker. Whether he can do it in this session, that might be a little bit interesting. But Alex Moss also improving. He's leading the Street Mod category, the FCP Euro Street Mod category, and a little bit quicker than his time last year, but feeling a bit frustrated as to why he couldn't improve more. They've since done that 7-speed DCT swap on that Turbo S2000 Super K, and it was hoping for more than 0.2 improvement over last year's times, but they found in some data that that car has more opportunities, particularly on the brakes. I think he's going to be going out and just trying to maximize what the car can give him in the braking zones, whether it nets him a fast lap now or not. That's to be determined, but this will be a really interesting session. We should mention the top track mod car, Mike McGuinness, in his GTR 58.1. That is wildly 5 seconds slower than Ferris Khartoumi in the top of Unlimited, but still leading the way in track mod. Very well done for him in the 577 GTR. And then leading the way, I think, down in the street category is Adam Wood, just nipping out the previous lap times record from last year at a 102.5. So that's going to be a new track record for this season as well.
Yeah,
there
really
in
impressive
street.
improvement in the lap record for him. Beating out Charles Miller, who's also here this weekend, but not having a pace he's had in previous years.
Last category here, well represented in time attack Group A. As we're watching the warm-up laps there's your track mod leader in the GTR coming onto his first flyer. Look at the rotation. The GTR puts the power down exactly where you need it to get onto the banking. But back to Club TR with spec Falken tires. Ben Thorne leading the way in his front-wheel drive Civic. He is topped his best time from last year's street category with the new spec of that Valvoline Civic, but also feeling a little frustrated that he can't get to the 102s.
Yeah.
He knows he wants the 102s. He knows the car can do the 102s, but the opportunities here in time attack here in Colorado are so limited. If you don't get it done, you might have to wait 24 hours to do it again. There's Ben there at the back. The other car we should really keep an eye on is Sean Krebsbach. He was the red and gray Evo just in front of Ben Thorne. That is a street mod car that is absolutely a top contender.
Always a top
many-time track record holder for sure, and he has not really gotten a fair shake at the lap yet because of some ABS issues.
Yeah, apparently a rewire of the car, and it's not going well for him. I saw he was on a dyno at 5 o'clock Thursday night and rolled into track Friday morning sometime. Whoa! the level of dedication there, holy cow.
You see the level of grip is just not there as Mike McGinnis, full drift mode, smoke off the tires even to finish that lap. But we're going to be keeping a close eye, particularly I think on Sean Krebsbach is going to be the guy I'm watching in this session. Can he get anywhere close to the 58s? Can he maybe get anywhere close to Super K, who's your leader in FCP Street Mod?
Mike McGinnis is 55.5 or 58.5 despite that big slide. So pretty impressive time. That probably would have been a really great lap had he kept it together there.
Dewey DeWitt, second fastest overall in this session, but not quite fast enough to dethrone Alex Moss. He is quicker this session, though, DeWitt with a 59.0.
3/10 improvement.
That's actually faster.
Yeah. Derek Boyd on screen there with a beautiful unlimited build Evo 10. Pikes Peak Hill Climb, previous competitor. What a cool car.
Mike Forsyth also improving by 0.07 of a second in his silver S2000. That is a turbo F-Series S2000. But right now we're watching Derek Boyd, who has had a couple of issues this weekend, got a late start to it.
Yeah.
I think he went out at the end of Group Heat 4 just to get himself up into the order now, finishes a flying lap, and that's going to be a 102.4. That was a little off his fast lap from this session at a 59.3. Looking down the order, what did he run this morning? It's got to be somewhere on our list here, right? Oh, third overall, 58.2. So not quite an improvement for Derek Boyd, but glad to see the cars running consistently session to session.
One of my favorite cars here this weekend, Charlie Whitney and his Ford Festiva. What a strange and unique time attack build.
Do you know what's in this car, power-wise? Because it's alarmingly fast in a straight line.
I don't know exactly what engine's in it. I know that it's kind of a Frankenstein of different parts. I know that it makes nearly 420 to the wheels.
Holy cow.
And it weighs about 1,900 pounds with driver.
Well, that explains why it's nothing but wheel spin through the infield, because I was watching earlier today, and it sounds like he can't even pick what gear to be in because it can't put the power down, but it looks cool doing it.
Chassis really limits the amount of tire he can stuff underneath it, so just doing the best he can with what he's got.
Sean Krebsbach pulling down into the pit lane. Didn't really get a chance to run a lap, so that might have been a shakedown session. That is Dewey DeWitt coming at us in the Black Boogeyman Street Mod Subaru. And he looked to be also on a little bit of a cool down, trying to reset.
Ryan Dussick's on screen there with a really, really interesting Subaru. It's got a lot of history in endurance racing in Japan.
Standing on a previous best of 102.2, and in this session still stuck in the 103s. And I think that's conditions more than anything. Cars dropping to the bottom, getting a reset. That is Super K leading Street Mod right now. That was the green S2000 on the low side of the track. And again, that car really working on braking zones in this session. There's Ben Thorne in his Valvoline Club TR Civic, leading the way, but again, looking for more speed. We'll see if he can get there. It's looking for the magic number at 102. He would be elated with that.
Yeah, Ben's been so dominant in Club TR this year. Couple of late entries we've seen this that cars still coming in today or late yesterday, so still a few heavy hitters that could shake some stuff up.
Street Mod leader on your screen right now, Alex Moss in the turbo DCT 7-speed swapped S2000 power down. That's pretty fast actually. You might think that looks a little slow, but that's kind of how that car drives. So steering wheel straight, back end rotating, and I think he's setting up for a bit of a flyer just behind Dewey DeWitt. Coming up onto that front straightaway, I know space has been at an absolute premium here on a just about a minute lap. 1.3 miles with 20-some cars is very, very busy in Time Attack A. See him stacked up there, Boogeyman getting stuck behind Ryan Dussick. They're not quite sure what to do with each other, but Super K is flat out into the banking. Ferris Khartoumi staged on the pit lane, and actually that worked out really well for him this morning. He came out and did basically the last lap of the session rather than going out for the first, and he was able to get a clear lap. That's when he ran that 153.2.
Was watching him do that lap this morning. It must have been, it's a pretty windy day this morning. Must have had a lot of dust blown onto the track overnight.
Ooh.
And watching the aero work on that car is so wild.
Big slide for Super K, but the steering wheel was straight. As long as you're not counter-steering, you're usually not losing too much time. There's a bit of counter-steer trying to get it out of turn number 4, up into the curb section. And the aero of this car does limit the amount of curb, but he doesn't seem to care right now. He's using all of it. Look at that, apexing the grass up on that curb, hooking it through the final corner. He had a big curb hop in the morning session. He was trying to make sure he avoided it this time, and he does beautifully all the way to the wall. Does Super K have anything in these hot conditions to improve the Street Mod lead, or does he leave the door open?
Not an improvement. A fast lap, but not an improvement.
Not able to even match.
59.5.
Yeah, not quite even able to match Dewey DeWitt's time from this session. So for bragging rights of Heat 5 anyway,
yeah.
Dewey takes it, and Super K for a slowdown, or for a cooldown. There's Mike Forsyth. He's 4th overall in this session at a 59.3. I believe he, like I mentioned, he improved by a couple of hundredths this session, but looks to be kind of on a mild lap right now. It doesn't look full send. Yeah, off the curbs and everything. This is a local driver who knows this track extremely well. There's a turbo in that car, and it's super, super fast.
Yes. Michael Amick in the Subaru there in the back of the screen. He showed up late yesterday and had to work his way up from Group C into Group A, where he has a little more open track and can lay down a little bit more representative times of what he's capable of.
Yeah, on screen right now is Dewey DeWitt, but 3 cars behind is Mike Amick. It's a GD, I think, is the body code of that hatchback Subaru. Dewey pulling it to the pit lane, but just behind him, Mike Amick, as you mentioned, is going to be coming up to try to improve on his best standing lap from this morning of a 1 minute .6. So he's just outside the 1 minute mark. The top street mod cars are down in the 58s. He's got a little bit more work to do. He's coming at us now, though. Their 2nd car in frame.
101.5, not an improvement.
Oh, giant curb hop for the number 437. That is Corey Ross. He's running track mod in that BMW M3. Looks like he's had a lot of grip issues. I was kind of watching in the infield earlier. I know I haven't been up in the booth for Time Attack yet, but that car definitely looks grip limited here in the infield. Lots of drifto moments out of that car, but it looks fun.
An SMG equipped car.
What's that?
It's an SMG equipped car.
Oh, cool.
So not the standard manual transmission you might assume most of these cars have.
Ooh, looks like a splitter has come loose on the Shelby. Who is that in the number 919 car? Greg Payne. Get that right? Yeah, Greg Payne in his Shelby GT350R has got the front splitter coming loose. I have to wonder if maybe the bump or some of the curb usage has knocked that loose. You got to hear, you're hearing that flapping in the car. It's probably a little bit alarming, but hopefully a couple of rivets or some duct tape and that'll be back out. There's Spaz Miller, the car 55. Charles Miller is 2nd place in street category right now. The street category is the least modified cars out here, so yeah, they make pretty good power, but it is a very mild prep as far as time attack goes. And he's trying to chase down our leader, Adam Wood. Where is Spaz in this session? 103.4 is the fastest he's been able to do today in this session, and he's standing on a 103.4.
Yeah.
Basically
not much
his fast lap.
I'm sure he's very frustrated with. He's generally a very much a top contender in the street class, and I'm sure being a 2nd down has got to be very frustrating for him.
Trying to tell if that was Ferris Khartoumi pulling out of the pit lane. It was a black speck with big arrow, but there's many black specks with big arrow here on the property. Check back in on Ben Thorne. He hasn't popped up into the 102 range on our timing screen. He's stuck at the 104s, and these front-wheel drive cars particularly, they use so much of the front tire trying to get grip, brake, turn, and throttle, everything through those drive wheels. The hot conditions just really are the Achilles heel of those cars. They can be absolutely as fast or faster than a lot of other drivetrains, but they do use their equipment a little bit tougher. Ooh, gets balked a bit by the Mustang on his high side. And the longer he stays out, the worse it's going to get. So he might be picking up some information, but I don't think he's going to be picking up any time right now.
So from your experience on this track, is this a track that's pretty quick to learn?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a big technical track, but there is a lot happening in a very short period of time. You know, the banking, first of all, is intimidating.
Yeah.
Most of us road racers and time attackers are not used to dealing with banking, so coming out here to Pikes Peak International Raceway and dealing with a big banking, and let alone the big bump in the middle of it, that's absolutely, it's more intimidating than it is technical, but you just got to stay calm, keep a light grip on the wheel, and let the car do the work for you. Then down into the infield, it's essentially a bunch of hairpins, but you have to be so
autocross, isn't it?
Yes, basically. Yeah, so you're down to 2nd gear sometimes, but because it is fairly straightforward, you have to be that much more precise because there's not a lot of space where you can just, be ballsier than somebody and make up time.
Right.
You got to be nice and precise down through that infield section. So it's more of a driver's challenge for different reasons. I wouldn't call it super technical, but it is absolutely tough. And then the last bit of it is we watch one of the fastest cars that we've seen all weekend. He's going to pound these curbs. Those curbs are very, very interesting to deal with because it's tough to be consistent. You got to be in the same place every single time to predict how the car is going to land. But every time the car goes airborne, it's an unknown. You can see that car kind of pounding back down. I guarantee that car is somewhere in the mid 3,000 pound range.
Right.
It's a lot of compression. I think that was that the 458?
Yeah, Team Dangerous Enterprises.
Okay.
A pretty consistent sub-minute car this weekend, an unlimited class car. I think maybe our fourth fastest of the weekend. So
typically, we've seen this car come out first on the grid.
Yeah, he seems late to the grid.
And he was late.
Session.
Yeah, late to the session this time through. So he's pretty much on a flyer. I think for the first time this time, very deep on the brakes down into turn number 4. You see the nose dive. He's been doing a really wide apex and then back on it to try to rocket off the corner. Didn't look like it worked for him that time. Might have been a little bit too wide, but he's trying to improve on his previous best of a 58.4 to see if he can maybe leapfrog Derek Boyd. Those two are second and third and unlimited, well behind Ferris Khartoumi, but having a great battle within 0.2 of each other.
Not a car we see very often, or I don't know that we've ever seen that particular car at a GRIDLIFE event before.
No improvement that time through. There was a 101 for that car as we check back in on Charles Miller. He's continuing. Looks like he did a reset last time. He was in the minute 22 range. So that means he was cooling those tires down. I'm pretty sure he runs Falkens on that Evo.
Yes.
And they definitely respond to cooling the temperature back down. They have tread blocks and they squirm around a lot. If you can cool those treads back down and go for one more flyer, it looks like he just crossed the line, 106. His best was a 103. So I think this one's pretty much done for anybody who's been out there the whole time.
Winding down in time anyway, so.
Still at the top, Mike McGinnis, that 58.5, and that is only 0.4 off. We saw that was a massive slide. I think that car's got 57s in it,
yeah.
And I'm sure he knows that. If he could just clean up that corner exit onto the front straightaway, that would have been a really quick lap, and in hot conditions, which bodes well for tomorrow morning.
One more session today, and then our last session tomorrow morning. So, running out of chances to put it all together.
Ben Thorne with a reset similar to Charles Miller. He was 3 minutes. He might have even come through the pit lane to bleed off some tire pressure or something, but he's back out for at least another lap or two in that front-wheel drive Club TR Civic. It's leading the way, and I think he's pretty well on top over Ryan Sealer.
I think almost a second.
A little over, almost a second and a half now at this point over that S2000. So Ben's got a little bit of wiggle room. Cloud cover, whoa, big drift for one of our Corvettes out of Street GT. I kind of forgot to check in on Street GT, actually. That might be down a little further, Mackay Evanitz. So checkered flag is out on the session. It looks like our timing and scoring has just ticked over. Time attack A is done, and just scanning down, it looks like no improvements really for any of our notable drivers we've been keeping track on. One of the drivers that came close, Mike McGinnis, within 0.4 of his best. Mike Amick down there in 7th. That's car number 6. He was within 0.3 of his previous best. I think Street Mod is going to be fascinating tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit of a stale afternoon for Time Attack there, specifically in Street Mod, but we have at least 4 cars that can take the win. We have Super K leading the way, but we have Sean Krebsbach. If he can get the little niggles worked out on that car, we've got Mike Amick, and then, of course, who am I forgetting?
Dewey.
Uh-oh, Dewey. There we go.
Man.
Sorry, Dewey. I didn't mean to forget you, but those 4 cars are absolutely on top of each other within a 2-second range, and some of them have had a lot more track time than others, so tomorrow morning is going to be fun to watch.
Sean Krebsbach really, to me, is the dark horse in this, because he's won here before. He's always a fast driver. If he can put it together, if he can figure out those mechanical issues, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Didn't look like he got a lap as I leaned forward to check the timing and scoring.
I don't think he finished.
Just did an out and in 108. I mean, if your out and ins are 108s, cut 10 seconds off of that and you got the win, Sean.
Yeah. So, looking into Group B here, a couple of well-known guys. Cal Fortner, a regular with his wild supercharged S4 and Street Mod. We talked briefly about Ryan Seiler earlier, our second place in Club TR. He had a mechanical issue the first session this morning and caused a black flag, had to be towed in. So hopefully he's got that figured out and we don't have those issues anymore.
So Cal Fortner inherits the pole position, essentially, coming onto the first flyers for Time Attack Group B. That car was hovering in the bottom half of Group A, I think, for a majority of the first part of this event anyway.
Yeah.
So this might actually be an advantage for Cal to get a little bit of clean air, not have to worry about so many cars around him. He's got completely open track in front of him in that Audi as he comes up onto the banking to start a flyer, but really deep field. Another 25 cars here in Group B, and you can see the build's much less mild here, or much more mild, sorry, in Time Attack Group B. We have a lot of street cars. We have a lot of Club TR cars represented, and a handful of street mod cars as well. Street GT.
I just saw a NASCAR on screen. Yeah.
I think that's probably Bob Boileau, one of the facility leaders here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. They love just grabbing whatever car they have in the garage and bringing it out for a Time Attack session. So that looks to be maybe, I think I saw that car testing for Pikes Peak even recently. Within the last, either this year or last year. So that car has seen some things.
An old Furniture Row NASCAR. So you never know what you're going to see at this track. In years past, we've seen stretched Miatas. We've seen Miatas with gas pedal on one side and steering on the other. So there's always something interesting.
I think that's why GRIDLIFE meshes so well with the facility here at Pikes Peak. Is we like to have fun, they like to have fun.
Absolutely.
And it just meshes so well. We're taking a look at Andrew Vogel. He is one of the top cars in Street GT, running that brand new C8 Corvette mid-engine. I have yet to drive one of these, but I've heard great things. The front end very sharp, the mid-engine balance they got pretty well. Can't wait to see the Z06 version of that car, but I think he sits third in Street GT right now, behind
stickers on that car, so it's probably got some power behind it.
He's standing on a 104.4. No improvement for the top couple of cars across the line, actually, as I say that. Ryan Seiler.
Oh, look at that.
Check that out. Puts within
103.8.
And that's within 0.4 of Ben Thorne. So Ben left the door open, and now he's got some pressure.
I like to see that. Ben's just kind of run away with almost every event we've had this year. And so it's great to see some pressure being put on him.
Looking back to Cal Fortner, looks like he actually pit. Did not like whatever was happening on his first lap and didn't attempt one. Went back into the pit lane. There's a look at the 527. I think that is 527 is Jack Jensen. He's sitting down in, rough math says third in Club TR at a 105.4.
Father-son team with his dad running in GLTC this weekend.
Yeah, and we may see that S2000 in GLTC sometime in the future. Who knows? But right now a Club TR prepped car. And sitting on the podium, but he's got a little bit of work to do. That's going to be almost 2 seconds if he wants to get up towards where Ben Thorne and now Ryan Seiler are.
Chasing Dalton Klein here right now in his orange Corvette. This is kind of the first weekend he's had this car out on track this year with tons of changes. He's still getting used to it. I know he's out there on sticker AO52s right now, hoping to improve significantly in his time. He's ran much faster in years past, so
almost matches his best as he goes a 105 flat. His best a 104.8, so he's getting there. But those sticker AO52s, they might have already peaked, as they do not like to get a lot of heat in them. Looking back down, a big improvement, or a little bit of an improvement for Andrew Vogel in that C8 that we were looking at. He improves 0.3 to a 104.1. Doesn't change his position there in Street GT, but gets him a little bit closer to the 103.6 of Micah Evanitz.
Another Street GT competitor there with the new Toyota Supra. There's been a handful of them in Street GT this weekend, which is a car we haven't seen much of outside of Jackie Ding and his Street Mod Monster. So I think this is a really good fit for this car, the Street GT class.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot more of these at the racetrack, and it's pretty cool. They're a lot of fun to drive on the racetrack, and I saw a picture from Jackie actually this morning. There's probably close to 24 of them down at COTA this weekend, all hanging out together. But I also just picked up a little cheeky reference. I think that's the BMW LTW E36 flags on the Toyota.
Yeah.
If you know, if you know. If you know, you know, I should say.
Alfa Romeo 4C on screen. Konachek, number 315. He's been doing really well with that car this weekend, and another really unique car to see on track.
There's our top car of the session, Ryan Seiler, in the number 255 Club TR S2000. That car is now within a half a second of the win in Club TR. Again, track temp's so hot, it's going to be tough to improve, I think, in this session, but that's got to be really motivating coming into the next session. Whoa, big spin for Andrew Vocal. C8 Corvette goes around through turn 9, coming up onto the banking. Couldn't quite get the power down with the mid-engine. Goes around. See if he dives through the pit lane. Yes, he does.
Ryan Seiler, no improvement with a 104.6, so may have seen the best we're going to see out of him this session.
Still quite a bit of improvements throughout the field as drivers continue to lap. Tyler Starr just ran a PB at a 105.3. Luca Safiro ran a 105.7, his personal best. Rich Enriquez also a 105.7. As we say, Luca Cafiro just improved to a 105.4. So a handful of improvements throughout the bottom half of the field here in Group B. But it looks like not a lot of shuffling up in the top 5.
Peter Granberg streaking by there with his blue supercharged Toyomaru Twin, a street mod regular. 104.4, his best this session. A slight improvement for him, 104.7 being his previous best. So, despite the track probably not being the best it's been, still some improving times, which is promising. Really, really like the look of those cars.
Yeah, that's Peter Granberg looking like he's prioritizing acceleration over distance. Squares up the corner. Whoa, massive hop on the curb. That's what we were talking about. Every time the car goes airborne, it becomes a big mystery until you land, and that was not a happy curb hop. He's not afraid of him, though. Look, climbs it again. Big slide up onto the banking.
Little counter steer.
Looking a little ragged. Might need to go cool those tires down, and indeed, he does bail to the pit lane to go maybe cool those Falkens down. Session fizzling just a little bit pretty early on. We're only 6.5 minutes into this one, but with how many laps you can squeeze into a short period with just over a minute lap time, it's easy to overheat your tires quick and kind of be done with the session even before it's half over. It's a 711, a beautiful 240, running right around mid-pack in this group. Kieran O'Callaghan in the unlimited rear-wheel drive, kind of a knife in a gunfight as far as unlimited's concerned when you got Ferris Khartoumi running the track record overall pace, but he's out circulating. Whoa, big slide 4. I think that is that Jeanette in the PPIR?
I don't think she's driving that this weekend. I think it was somebody else. Really cool to see a big old NASCAR like that out, just running laps with our time attack sessions.
Certainly out of its element down there on the infield, but now it enters its element up onto the banking for the 781. That's Dave Stock in Super Unlimited, which means it's a tube frame chassis. It's not a production-based car. We see those every once in a while.
Radicals and stuff like that kind of fit into that class. Not a commonly competed class, but still cool to see it. Alice Stern out there with an STI. Street class competitor.
Sorry. And Alice is standing on a 105.4 from a previous session. Looking to see it's a 106 flat that time across the line. Fastest lap for the session for Alice, but not an improvement on overall standings. Still everyone chasing Adam Wood there in street at a 102.5, which is a new track record by, I want to say, about 7/10 of a session.
Yeah.
From, second from last year's winner, who I believe was Charles Miller.
Yep. It's a huge gap in time on a relatively short track in street class. So.
It is, and as you were mentioning, it's not necessarily the most technical infield, but it's really easy to throw away a lot of time pretty quickly, because keeping the car maximized on the limit for that short period of time becomes exponentially more important. It's very similar to a track maybe like Lime Rock, where it's almost more important to be super, super precise versus a track like, I'm trying to think of one, Road Atlanta, for example, which takes some you know, gusto, maybe I should say.
Yeah, Road America even, maybe?
Yes, you can make up for lack of precision with bravery. There's not a lot of bravery involved in this track. Maybe the oval, getting used to that, but otherwise you just got to be really, really precise.
We were watching the GLTC race from like right where corner 1 and 2, and watching the cars go over the bump. It's quite the ride, it looks like, for some of those guys.
Big chassis hop for that Focus RS coming back up onto the straightaway as you were mentioning that. I'm scanning down to see who that was. It's a Focus somewhere on our list here. There it is, Brad Riemann. He's in street all-wheel drive at a 105.2. Ryan Seiler did a reset, going back to the top of the board. That's that blue S2000 we were mentioning. Had a big improvement in this session. It looks like a trip through pit lane, went back out and just did a 103.8 again, within 100th of a second of his previous best. So that's looking like as good as it's going to get for him in this session. If you're repeating that lap time consistently like that, there he is coming back into turn number 1. Appeared to be slow and wide, so maybe he saw that lap time was no better and decided to save some Falcons for tomorrow morning.
That particular S2000, one of your good friend Andy Smedegard's first K swaps.
Really?
To an S2.
I had no idea.
So
we know it's well swapped. And it looks to be well driven too, threatening the win there in street mod. Austin Shipley in the 669 just improved a personal best at a 104.6, and that goes to 4th overall in the session.
Justin Williams here in the 595 car with a 107.2, the best session. That's kind of a YouTube famous car. Has a pretty decent following on YouTube. So
looked really nervous coming up onto the banking. Lots of compression and rebound up and down as you saw it try to transition up onto the banking. So maybe not the happiest handling car right now, but he's continuing to circulate down in as we go down to 17th in the session, running in track mod. So I think that car is a little bit outgunned as well in track mod when you got Mike McGinnis sub 1 minute.
Stuck in there mostly because of a tire choice. So track mod often being kind of a catch-all class for guys who aren't necessarily GRIDLIFE regulars.
Yeah, it's tricky. You do that one thing to your car that either you really wanted or is good for some other series. You come to a GRIDLIFE event, especially when we're a little bit away from our home turf here in Colorado. Being from the Midwest, you come out because you have the opportunity and you find out, well, I'm maybe not going to be competitive, but I'm going to have a good time. 781 continuing to circulate as well. It looks pretty good on the road course, I will say. Lots of ride height in the front, though.
What a big car.
Checkered flag out on the front straightaway. A little bit, well, no, that's about right. 12.5 minutes done, so we'll get cooldowns in for Time Attack Group B. Big mover, Ryan Seiler. That's pretty impressive. I think Club TR is going to be a lot of fun to watch tomorrow morning. Ben Thorne maybe sweating just a little bit, but Seiler's going to have that motivation. I don't know that they're going to be able to improve this afternoon. If they do, by all means, have at it, and congratulations. But big pressure coming into tomorrow's final session in Heat 7.
Exciting to see some pressure being put on Ben for once. He's really kind of ran away with it a lot this year in other events, and being a real dominant player in that new Club TR class.
Yeah, with any time with a new class, you get early adopters, you get people building slowly, and Ben certainly was one of the early adopters, kind of the first, I would say, and maybe one of the only to go as full tilt as Club TR is. A lot of these other cars still kind of transitioning from whatever they were doing before into the Club TR class, so it's definitely kind of a slow build for some other drivers where some came out swinging like Ben did, and it's really cool also. You kind of have that benchmark to be motivated to chase. You see Ben going sub 140 at Gingerman. He's almost knocking on the door of 1 minute mark here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Everybody else who's looking for Club TR builds is going, okay, there's my benchmark. I got to chase that guy.
Yeah. Not an easy task.
Final podium spot in Club TR while I was just scanning around. Jack Jensen in the 5:27. He's in third, almost matched his personal best in that session. In these hot conditions, maybe he learned a thing or two and he can apply that when the track cools down a little bit later. That'll be fun to watch as well. So it's a Civic and then 2 S2000s. I think both K-swapped. So it's a trio of K-Series engines leading Club TR, but a pretty unique front-wheel drive one at the front and then those 2 S2000s at the back as we transition towards Group C in Heat 5.
Those K-swapped S2000s just fit so perfectly into that class.
Yeah, especially with the trick being in the category, to dive a little into the rules, is the minimum weight of 2,550 pounds when you do a displacement change in that car. So an S2000 came with either a 2-liter or a 2.2 liter. When you put the 2.4 in it, now you have that minimum weight. Ben has done the same thing in his Civic, but the Civic is fundamentally a lighter car. So he can get close to that 2,550 mark. The S2000s, they're not light cars. They're you know, they're more naturally 2,800 pounds. So when you put that 2.4 liter in, you probably have a couple 100-pound disadvantage to a car versus Ben's, where he's right at the money. So you got to do a little bit of extra development with that rear-wheel drive car.
From what I've seen, Ben seems to make a little bit more power than a lot of his competitors too, which is a huge help, especially if he's a lighter chassis to begin with.
Yeah, this K-Series obviously designed to go this way in the car, and you turn them this way for an S2000. They don't breathe quite as well, so there's a bit of a power disadvantage there as well, but you can make up for that a bit. But the combo certainly makes the front-wheel drive cars seeming to be the better cars right now, at least, in the first half of the season of this year.
Class requiring basically stock internals, a mostly factory engine, so there's not a lot you can play with.
Right.
So, coming up here, Group C, our final group in this session. Mostly just guys kind of out there having fun or you know, working towards builds and stuff like that. So.
And one of our favorite classes, Sunday Cup. That's our final time attack class. It's always in Group C because it's essentially a bunch of Honda Fits, but they're all having the best time ever, and they are wheeling the heck out of those cars. Leading the way is Team Brap, car number 139 at a 112.7.
He's got a huge lead on the rest of his class there.
Yeah, that's almost 1.5 seconds back. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's got less than a tenth of a lead over David Hard Times Racing. Sorry, we're having a spreadsheet alignment problem. So a pair of 112s there at the top of Club Sunday Cup, and they're essentially tied. And then it's a little bit of a gap back to James Morgan, who gave a couple tips to yesterday. Maybe he can go apply those this morning.
I know James was real frustrated. He won at our last event at Autobahn and was really hoping to repeat that. So I'm sure he's very frustrated with his performance this weekend thus far.
Yeah, I was talking to him yesterday, and he's having some compliance issues using the curbs. And to go fast at PPIR, you have to be able to use the curbs.
Yeah.
He's like, I drove this car here, and I'm banging the frame off the curbs. Maybe this isn't the best idea. So maybe he'll get bold and decide, hey, I'm going to go for one burner, but that might be his issue. You see very mild prepared cars rolling out. Not a lot of aero on these cars. Many, many Club TRs, street represented. And then towards the back, we'll see that leader, Team Brap and Hard Times Racing, duking it out for Sunday Cup, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's, what, 22 to 1 power to weight?
I think it's 22 to 1 power to weight to the wheels and 25 at the crank.
Okay, so
based
not
on
a lot.
Factory numbers.
Not a lot.
So no, Fits are pretty much the dominant car in that class, just because this is kind of the Honda group at its core. But other cars that would fit in there, base model Coopers, Kia Rios. You know, there's a hand. Mazda 2s would be great. Anything that's kind of that Spec B class.
Yeah, we've seen EF Civics in there. We've seen, I think, a Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiestas would fit well in there.
Was it the Festiva was in there,
Festiva,
right?
so I'm friends with that guy. He does not quite fit the power to weight.
When your Festiva's too fast.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny.
I also have to wonder what would a stock NA Miata be. I know it's probably a little bit under that power to weight,
I think
but
they're very close.
It's got to be close.
And then, there's no must run factory diff and pretty minimal modifications allowed, and then anything that bolts up to factory locations on suspension is allowed.
So right there coming at us, Wes Case is the fastest car, our quote-unquote pole sitter here in Group C. He's running unlimited in that BMW M3. You can tell it looks very mild, so maybe he's just there based on tire choice or something.
Yeah, that car is a GLTC car in development.
Cool.
The driver and car, I should say, in development. So he's on Hoosiers this weekend. It's a caged, gutted car, but still kind of learning the driving techniques before he makes the jump into wheel-to-wheel.
Smart move. And then right behind him, Jeff Tattersall is hustling his Club TR CRX. That's the 104.7 best time for him, but that was the white car hopping curbs. Now we're starting to see glimpses of those Sunday Cup fits. And is that taped off to make power? I think it is.
I think we're trying to make aero, maybe?
Maybe that.
Trying to make the car a little more slippery for the oval section. Anything for a 10th,
I was going to say anything in the pursuit of speed. That's the time attack way.
Yes. Gorilla tape is a very common modification on time attack cars.
Now this will be interesting. This is a very late arrival to the event. Samuel Kendall Samuel, sorry.
Yes. There we go. Whoa.
Having big brake lockup issues, but had some issues getting here. It was a day late. This is, I think, the first time that car's seen the track. And as you can tell, it is not really a Group C car. It's a very extreme car. I've actually gotten some seat time in this car as well.
Oh, really?
Going close to sub 130s at Road Atlanta. So it hustles big time. And that was 5 years ago, so I'm sure that there's been quite a bit of development ever since. He looks like he's tucking back down into pit lane to go check some things, but hopefully by tomorrow morning he at least gets one lap in the book there for Kendall.
Was that a sequential car when you drove it?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay, so then yeah, it's made some big jumps. And now I think he's even a paddle shifted sequential, if I'm not mistaken.
Category of the group essentially being Sunday Cup here. That's the only group that has top contenders in this session, and they're pretty off pace at this point. A 113.9 for Team Brap. They're your class leaders, but they're standing over a second faster than that. So those fits really struggling in these hot conditions to maybe make some speed. There's your top car, though. You said he's out here practicing and looking really good. That looks very compliant. 107.6 is fast lap in this session. We know GLTC cars are dipping into the 101s, but those are the most developed and some of the best driven cars here. So if he can get even into the, I have some GLTC times here somewhere. That would qualify him inside, well, not last, we'll say, about maybe somewhere in the 12th to 14th range in GLTC if he were out here. So I'd say he's doing a pretty good job.
Working through driver development with the Kellys, so in good hands.
TGA Performance, that's a team-driven car, number 317, jumps up to second in the session at a 107.7. And I think that is a WRX out of street category. That looks to be within 0.2 of their previous best session, so whoever's driving there is knocking on the door of an improvement, but not quite there yet. Cool variety. That's a Ford Escort going by us, right behind a Lexus IS300. Behind that, an Acura TL. So yeah, it's maybe not the fastest group. We're Group C here, but you got really cool cars that people would love to come bring on track. There's the hustling Jeffrey Tattersall. Has yet to improve on that 107.8, but hopping the curbs, keeping that CRX moving. Nice rotation on the way in, gets the power down up onto the banking. There's the 317 TGA Performance car that we mentioned, sitting second in the session.
Real smooth up onto the bank.
Wonder if that car sees any rally time. They got the rally wheels on there.
Yeah, it looks like
got the rally course just to the left out of the camera frame here, slinging dirt all day long. Maybe that car is a dual purpose.
I haven't made it over there this year.
Oh, it's the best. I haven't actually either, but
I know you've had your fair share of it.
So much fun. So much fun. We'll point it out next time we get a drone shot, but there's about a 2-mile rally course just outside of the speedway here. We've got, I think there's a competition actually happening over there today being put on by what's the rally school?
Rally Ready?
Rally Ready, there you go. So I see a lot of dirt in the background from our timing tower here.
So many things to see and do at Alpine.
Swinging wide for a big late apex, not quite able to get there. Whoa, big understeer for the 317. Puts the power down with the all-wheel drive eventually, but that car's front end is not happy in the heat. Nice pivot there, though, through the curb section.
Not using as much curb as some of the other cars. So.
Just to be calling it a day, actually, fist out the window means I'm pitting in. There's Kendall Samuel coming back out. What can that unlimited class car do?
I would love to see that car go fast here this weekend.
This big challenge is going to be similar to Mike Amick, having to come up from Group C all the way to Group A.
Fighting traffic that's much slower than you. At least the oval gives you a good opportunity to get some passing done.
Absolutely, but I mean that car could theoretically be 10+ seconds faster than every car on track or more.
The speed differential there, the closing speeds are probably going to be a little bit terrifying even.
Car looks pretty good. It looks to be running well. Look at the acceleration as we pan down to turn number 4. No brake lockup this time. Looks composed. Again for the late apex, but the slicks on that car tuck it in nicely. Power down across the fans. Up against the wall.
Using that curbing despite all the aero. The turbo setup on that's got me questioning some things on what he's got under the hood of that car. You can see multiple exhaust pipes or wastegate pipes sticking up. I almost kind of wonder if he's got a 6-cylinder in that thing these days. I know in the past he's had one in his street car. Kind of wondering if he swapped it.
Kind of respectfully finding his way through traffic along the banking. Looks to maybe actually be slowing down and bailing out, unfortunately. So we might not see a lap time out of this car. Although he's quick on the brakes, maybe a little bit top speed limited, just making sure that everything's fine. Catching up to a slew of interesting cars. There's that Acura, then the Lexus IS300. Tori Skursky in the E90 BMW.
Lexus just trying to stay out of the way. That car has, the Subaru has changed so much over the years. That wrap is looking really good now.
You're right, the wrap, a little bit of a Van Halen reference there. It looks good. Coming up onto the banking, again, pretty respectful, getting around people. Tori lets him through, gets down to the pit lane entrance, and this is not going to be a barn burner, but it's got to feel like a big win to come all this way, being a day late, and just get a time on the board, and now to be able to start chipping away at it. Don't see it pop up on our timing screen. There it is, 110 flat.
Lots of traffic in there, though. Really fighting that. It's got to feel good just to get a time, even if it's not the greatest.
Big time, big time. Back into Sunday Cup, no one's been able to go anywhere close to top times. 113.6 is still the fastest. Team Brap, that's the 139 car. I have to wonder if that's the one all taped up or not. And then we scroll down a little bit further. He looks to be the only Sunday Cup car that's even attempting to run this session. So it is that car.
Yeah.
Big smoke again, tire lockup again from the back of the Subaru. Ooh. Looks like the steering wheel got away from him just a little bit coming off of turn 4. Kind of tugged him all the way to the inside of the track.
Looks like he has a clear shot through the infield section, so maybe this could be the lap we're looking for. Watch him come across the line here. See if there's any improvement on the time he put up earlier. There it is, a 106.5, a big jump in time. Should be enough to even maybe move him into the Group B run group for the next session.
Yeah, if nothing else, he'll be the quote-unquote pole sitter for Group C going into our Group 6, and that's got to be such a good feeling.
Yeah.
The car doesn't look to be blisteringly fast on the oval, so I think there's something top speed limiting that car right now, but on the infield it looks like it's doing pretty good. Now definitely on a cool down as he rolls his way down into turn number 3, catching up to the EK Civic just in front of him, or is that, what is that chassis code, EM1? I don't know the chassis codes past EGs.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Honda guy, so I always get cornered into this, and I'm wrong.
How dare you?
About it every time.
How are you even allowed here?
Yeah, right.
Talking seat time, Wes Case has still been circulating. That's the gray BMW that just left the camera. And Kendall Samuel is on a cooldown. That's the unlimited Subaru. Does he reset for a flyer or does he hit the pit lane? That's the question.
Looks like he took pit.
It's one of the top 10 cars from this session. Jeff Hamilton in the track mod rear-wheel drive BMW. That's the 237 car on your screen right now. He sits fifth in the session, sorry, at a 108.3. That is just 0.3 slower than his previous best. So I mean, I really think coming close to your personal bests in these hot sessions is kind of a win.
Yeah.
So he's doing a great job in that BMW. I don't know if it's brown or patinaed that way.
I think it's patinaed that way.
Okay,
and then
cool.
I saw earlier this morning, he appears to have fashioned himself sort of a diffuser out of a yield sign.
Nice.
So, some interesting touches on that car.
Gotta love it. Jeffrey Tattersall was that white CRX we were kind of watching off and on. He just did a personal best on lap 9 of the session, a 107.7. And I think that's within a couple of tenths or hundredths of what he'd done there. He is still hustling. I love these old Hondas. You got to put shoulder into the steering wheel. You see him leaned into it. That's kind of the autocrosser way when you got to get those no power steering and just hustle these big steering racks in these old Hondas. Still hopping curbs, big front tires on the front. Little tires on the back. There's a pivot, hikes the wheel just a little bit up onto the front straight, playing with his Prelude buddy.
Club TR, Falken 660s on that car.
Wow, consistency is key right there for Tattersall. He does another 107.7. I'm going to open up the details for his session here because this is cool.
Improvement, no less.
So 107.8 was his best, and then a 107.9, then a 107.7, then a 107.7. So he's really, really consistent, which is impressive for these, these high temps.
Especially this late in the session.
This late in the session, those Falcons are pretty resilient, but they do eventually give up, as all tires do in the heat, and Jeff Tattersall don't care.
Going all the way out there, using all the track available.
Session running just a little bit longer than Group B did. Whoa, all the way into the dirt. That looks good. The heck of an apex. Gets a little bit behind for turns 8 and 9, but we are 13.5 minutes into the session with still no sign of a checkered flag. Flagger actually still sitting under his tent, keeping cool. So this session has gone nice and long. We'll get over 10 laps if you stayed out the entire time. As you see cars sorting out their traffic situations. Here's a street mod car. Car number 219. To scroll down just a little bit to find, that's Brett Bauer, 114 flat.
A few seconds off of his personal best through the weekend. 111.9 being his personal best, so he's a ways off of that.
This is the first lap across that no one has improved anywhere in the field. Drivers obviously still clicking off laps. Seat time is seat time. Fun is fun.
Yeah.
But we've officially crossed the 10-lap mark, and it looks like most cars are done with improvements. I love Honda Preludes. I don't know why.
They're kind of
cool.
an unused chassis for us, and they are really cool.
Specifically this one, the vertical headlights, I could take or leave, but there's something about that, the body style of that car, low, sleek, just does it for me. The 229, that is another one of our drivers just outside of the top 10. That's James Imormino, and he proves me wrong, improves on that lap at a 112.7. That's a personal best for him, as he has been standing on a 112.3, so it's just outside of his personal best, 0.2 down. Oh, makes a liar out of me twice. He did a 112.7, so he actually improved in this session, improves to a personal best here in Heat 5. Past the 15-minute mark and still no sign of a checkered flag. These guys are getting so many bonus laps right now.
Yeah.
It is awesome. So we see the that was the 68 car, I think, one of the Scion FRS Toyota BRZ 86 things. Daniel Montanez in Club TR. Looks like a very mild Club TR car, though, at a 111 and some change.
I think I see a new fit out there as well. Possibly a new Sunday Cup competitor. Kind of late in the session to be popping out there now. The Ford Escort, I watched him earlier today. He'll wheel the crap out of that car. He was really going for it. Fun to watch. A very strange car to see on track. Not what you usually would think of as a track car.
Which car was that?
This Ford Escort.
Oh,
here.
yeah. I know. It actually was one of our really good friends, Ben Thorne from Gears and Gasoline. This was, I want to say it was his first track car, but it might not be his first. It was definitely his track car before he started to get really into time attack. He had a blue one. Also, fun fact, was almost my first car, but cool to see one out here. I like that body style.
I think they fared well in autocross when they were newer cars, but never really took to the track that well.
It's another improvement for the Prelude. James Mormino goes to the 112s one more time in that red Prelude at a 112.6. So he's picked up over a second from Heat 4 to Heat 5. I'm trying to figure out who that other Sunday Cup car is. Looks like Dusty Michael, maybe, at a 117.3. He's standing on a 117 flat. That's the red Honda Fit at the back of the train we just saw. So he's knocking on the door of the 16s, which is where Peter Lindbergh sits. So those two are having quite the duel between the two of them in the more mild prepared Sunday Cup cars. You see the body roll. I think that's a pretty stock Honda Fit.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Dusty's first weekend competing in Sunday Cup.
Okay.
And we didn't see Pete Lindbergh this session because he blew an axle out and is making a parts run.
Oh, no.
So
I know he told me yesterday I gave he and James Morgan a couple of tips for the curbs, and James said my chassis bottomed out, and Peter said he almost rolled it right here as he hopped that curb.
Really?
Went up on two wheels. Dusty looks composed, though, hustling through the last couple corners.
No, the advantage of running a mostly stock car is that you can run to the parts store and get parts as needed. So, whereas some cars that would be the end of the weekend.
I know when we were endurance racing my Honda Fit, we would absolutely never and would never even think to go and return parts that had warranties and bring them back to the racetrack with new ones. That would be awful of us.
Yeah. Heaven forbid.
James Mormino, once again, he's our guy to watch right now. On lap 13 goes a 112.1, almost into the 111s for that red Honda Prelude. We haven't seen him on camera in the last couple of laps, but he's continuing to improve, circulating around. The track's pretty thinned out at this point. I think there might be 7-8 cars left out there. But we're continuing to watch Dusty Michael. Wasn't able to get to the 116s just yet, but our guy, Mormino, goes to the 111s, 111.8 in that red Honda Prelude that just flashed through the screen.
Session running very long.
Yeah, we're well past 18 minutes. Time Attack Group B got 12. But, you know, once you're past lap 2 or 3, the cars are kind of done at that point, and everything past that is just for fun. So I don't know that that's really a big loss for anybody, but certainly having a lot of fun out here for these guys. Another improvement for Daniel Montanez in the Club TR, car number 68. That was that silver BRZ, I think, a 109.4.
His personal best previously a 111.1, so that's a big jump for him.
Yeah, almost 2 seconds.
A huge jump for him. Great to see that.
Jumping around the standings all over the place just a little bit, but the number 47 car, Nicholas Lucchesi, just improved on a personal best on lap 15, a 111.5 out of his street front-wheel drive car. And again, that's car 47, which makes it a Honda Civic. He had been standing on a 110 before, so that's not a PB, but it's still a pretty impressive feat to go that fast on lap 15.
Seth Confer on screen there with a yellow CRX, a local of the PPIR crew. He last year was in a neon. Just strange little car.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good improvement up to a CRX. Another Club TR car, very similar probably to Tattersall that we were watching earlier on in the session. So he's the yellow one, and that car is standing just, where is he? He's just inside the top 10. They're in 8th overall, 109.2 the last time through, but a 108.6 is his previous, is his session best. Back onto the start, finish straight. The checkered flag is finally out. Flagger has the checkered waving in the air for 6 or 7 cars left on track, one of them being Wes Case. And actually, while we were not paying attention, Wes Case, he's completed 18 laps total, and he improved to a 106.3. And just because it's fun,
Samuel's time even.
Yeah, that is solidly 12th place in the GLTC grid of what would be 16 cars if he were to join them. So he'd have a lot of fun racing. If he were to join GLTC, I'd say can't get there soon enough, bud.
I'll have to talk to him about it. So that would be something he'd be very excited about, I'm sure.
So with that, checkered flag out after a 22.5-minute Group C session. These guys had a blast out there. We had a lot of fun in the booth, and I think we have our storylines coming into, if not this afternoon, for Heat 7 tomorrow morning here at Alpine Horizon Festival. It was a lot of fun to watch the time attack cars for, it was my first time really paying attention all weekend. So I love seeing the variety that we have here at Alpine.
Yeah, can't wait for the concerts tonight. It's going to be crazy. So many people.
Thanks for tuning in to GridLife Live here with us, and we'll be back just a little bit. I think we might be kicking things off with Drift here in a little while.
Yeah.
Premium protectants and cleaners, exceeding expectations since 1980. STA-BIL, ready, willing, STA-BIL. MOMO, the official safety partner of GridLife. And by HP Tuners. HP Tuners. Connect, read, edit, write, drive. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and Flow Air Ride tanks at airliftperformance.com.
FCP Euro is here to help you keep your car on the trails, track, or tarmac after a weekend of thrashing at GRIDLIFE Alpine Horizon Festival. So from now until Saturday, July 31st, we're giving the GRIDLIFE friends and fam 10% off their first order at FCPeuro.com using the code Alpine at checkout. Thank you all for watching this weekend, and we hope to see you at the track next time around.
The Falken Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenis RT660.
pizza delivery.
Oh, okay.
Trash truck plows through the delivery bikes. Formula D driver is waiting for his pizza. Says he'll deliver them in his Supra.
How about Fast Freddy's Pizza?
Love that.
Okay, let's go.
We are live, baby. We are here at Pikes Peaks International Raceway. I'm Jared Deanna. Joining me once again, Paco Ibarra. There's, I think, now 23 R's in his...
Keeps adding
Yeah, 23 R's as the days go on in his name. Representing Maximum Driftcast. If you haven't listened to it, definitely download it. Listen to all things Maximum and Drifty. Paco, how are you, bud?
Great pitch. I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I think I had a good time last night.
You think?
If I can recall, I went to the wrong hotel. All things considered, great time. And of course, it was great to see some awesome performances last night on stage, but also the stage that is the track. Laser beams. Lasers were everywhere. Yo, I'm telling you right now. Literally. No, Ryan literally was not there, but he is here in the building.
Yeah,
hopefully he's going to be running in this session because we are going drifting right now. Thank you so much to all the track action. Now we're just going to go ahead and just, do what we do and just slide around. Well, we're not doing it. They're doing it.
We can slide a little bit.
Yeah, we can. All right, relax. I'm a married man, bro. Okay, just relax. So all things considered, absolutely love this event. Alpine Horizon Festival, curated by GRIDLIFE. It is sold out. So what's even more awesome is you can just watch it from the comfort of your own home.
At least that's the great advantage.
Right.
Usually events like this don't get televised.
No.
Is this considered televised?
Yeah.
Online device?
100%. I just saw an article about Formula Drift and saying that, look, we're exclusively live stream and 40 million views last year. So it just made an auto week. So that is a true testament to seeing what motorsports and how you can really just adapt. And that's what GRIDLIFE is all about. We don't.
Hi, Mom.
We don't. What is that one? That's a random one. Hi, Mom. I love it. So again, hats off to our live stream team here. They do a great job. The Specialty Field production guys, Matt and Rogie and the whole gang. So the Kato boys and
they're the ones who are making us look good.
I don't know about that. I mean, they're not doing my hair and my makeup. I mean, but the production looks great.
Absolutely. I think there's like 8 or 9 cameras on track, including one drone.
Droney boys.
And two drones. There you go, 2 drones. And,
those drones.
I mean, that's a big production.
2 drones, 1 track.
Oh. Yep. I'd like to see that.
You're about to see it. Here we go. All right, so our drift session is now underway. You can see the bags flapping in the wind. It's warm out here, but with the breeze, it keeps it cool. And I know there's always kind of impending weather, so right now we're getting a full-on dry sesh. And like we said, we saw some awesome racing earlier, and now Here we go. And who's in that? Do we know who's in piloting E36?
I don't know.
We have names.
That one. There's a few E36 out there. I can't remember every one of them.
Yeah, Adam LZ notably is out there. TJ Hunt, from what I understand, they lost his tires. So UPS lost his tires, so he did acquire some. So excited to see him back out there.
It's not like it's a small package.
No,
right?
it was a
like,
pallet of tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like a baker's dozen of donuts.
Right.
No.
The rubber donuts.
Yep, that's right. All right, Voss out there in that S chassis, the Boss kit. And you can see the jump out there. We saw Lauren Healy, Von Gittin Jr., Cletus McFarland. I saw a great photo. Alec Carsons, who works with Cletus, had an awesome photo of him. And who do we got here?
George K.
George K.
Taking
George Kirakapapapapalopoulos.
Yeah, look at that drone shot. It's almost like a video game. You know?
I love it.
Just watching these shots, riding,
using all the track.
Oh yeah. Said I paid for the whole track. I'm using the whole track.
No, you paid for the whole track, but you're only going to use the edge. That's just
if you want.
Cuts like a knife. So you can see the full layout here. The stage is over there on the right next to the karting track. The MOMO weld activation, a great looking facility over there. Naked Sushi Boys.
DJ Mata, the pink S14. But dude, like, about last night.
Yeah.
Like, the sky was like a ceiling of lasers.
Didn't it look like the Iron Shield, you know, like the missile defense program?
Yeah.
It was the Iron Shield, bro. There were no missiles getting in here last night.
We're having the missile crisis repeated.
Right.
And GRIDLIFE was protecting the audience. It was amazing. And from what I heard, there's going to be more lights tonight. Adding more lights in the corners. They're adding lights. More cars.
That was Friday was just a warm-up. That was an appetizer, but Flosserdamus killed it out there. Lupe Fiasco, and then tonight we got Young Gravy,
it was so
Suicide Boys,
Lupe.
Dirk Stratton right now, front and center here with that Oracle Lighting Lingenfelter Corvette. Dirk Stratton taking a hiatus from Formula Drift, but great to see him out here and having some fun behind the wheel of his signature Corvette, the Drift Vet. The Falken Tire Boys should be making their way. What's that?
Hashtag Drift.
Yeah. Yep. I'm seeing Sopa here on the far side of the track on the straightaway. He's making his way over there to the start line.
Matthew Dale. That was an old competition car, and it's all full party mode car.
That wing is very unique.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it or not. It's a little wide, but it's unique.
Like these carbon ends.
Yeah.
You know, for maximum
downforce.
Downforce. Yeah.
Or catching air. I think he's gonna hit the jump here in a moment.
Either or.
Yep.
However it is that drifters use wings for.
Right,
other than
exactly.
Good.
All right, got Adam LZ and Ryan Turk. Turk out there in that Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. This is his demo vehicle, not his comp vehicle, and obviously Adam LZ has fun in his E36. He does have his comp vehicle, and we did see that yesterday out on track.
Man, so many rear-wheel drive converted vehicles.
Right.
That's one of the craziest things, you know, like you have a Ford Fusion, Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic.
Yep. I just saw literal there.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, the Audi.
Yeah. The A4. Which, I mean, you say, like, well, at least those Audis are all-wheel drive, but it's still not, like, that easy, you know? Like, takes a lot of work, and these guys are doing it.
All right, looks like
TJ Hunt back there.
Yep. TJ, again, acquiring some tires now, so he's excited to get back out here.
If anybody has some extra tires, go drop them at TJ Hunt's.
Make a donation to the pot.
Yeah.
Want to thank Sean Fenton last night for getting me the hotel address, and I am here. I'm alive, so I appreciate that. I walked a mile and a half pulling my luggage. Yeah, I was good though. I'm good. Don't worry. Don't worry. I did in my stupor did acquire a salad from 7-Eleven and and a protein pack of beef jerky and cheese. And I survived. Didn't get a Slurpee though. I don't regret that.
Sounds better than my Taco Bell last night.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'm still feeling it.
I can feel it too.
Little rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, here we go. The Falken Tire train. That is Matt Field out front, Justin Pollock, and Daijiro Yoshihara. Had a good time with Dai Yoshihara last night, man.
He's such a good dude.
Such a good dude. Field was mad at me because I went like front stage and watched Lupe Fiasco. Oh, there he is. He's waving. Oh, he's saying back off, back off.
Like, no. There you go.
There, now reinitiates. Feeling the heat wave.
Party Corvette.
Yep. And I don't think is that Justin's comp vehicle or
that was his 2018 comp vehicle.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So one of his also it's like full
spec.
competition spec turned into a party car.
That's right. NBD.
Look at this, drifting all the way up into the bank.
And I know Dye was having some issues with his S15, but they got it worked on.
It's got to be so easy to work on a car like his. It's so simple. It's not like overbuilt, you know. It's like a very old. Oh, now we see
boy.
Ryan Literal.
Would you say Ryan literal or figurative?
Figurative.
Ryan figurative.
Open. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Oh boy, look at those pants.
I just don't like him. He's opening the hood in the middle of the track. I hope it's just something simple like a belt.
It's always that 10-cent part, right? Looks like we're getting a little toe action here.
Well, he's Instagramming it, so letting the world know what's wrong with it. Let's see if we're gonna send somebody around him.
The RB Army is flying the flag, but he needs to get that thing strapped together. Hopefully see him next week. Next week got Seattle Formula Drift.
Yeah.
So hopefully
get that. Supposed to be like a little shakedown, right?
Yep.
What's crazy is that he broke his car at GRIDLIFE while testing last time.
Yeah.
So let's hope it's not the case. It's just
let's. Why you got to bring up old stuff, Paco?
Little gremlins.
Yeah, gremlins everywhere, bro.
No, I talked to him. It was his birthday just a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Somebody broke in his trailer.
I saw that.
Same day of his birthday, stole his
tools, power tools.
You know, and he's still like with good, you know, like hopes, like, you know what, it's all good. You know, I'm still gonna
positive vibes.
Yeah. So props to Literal, because he's still keeping a level head.
Ryan figurative.
Right.
It's Ryan figurative, not literal. Figuratively speaking, you know what I mean? Versus literally speaking.
There you go. We have like a 8-car line right now. There you go. That's Cletus McFarlane in the Fox body, tandeming with the Austin Phipps Audi A4 drift car.
I like it.
That's cool. Like that's 2 cars that you usually don't see on track, right?
Right. Love the E30.
Yeah. They have the M-Spec boys.
There's your hot dog boy.
And our hot dog boy.
Our hot dog boy. Chimichanga arms.
Chimichanga arms.
We need to redo a new intro.
I'm ready for a new one.
We need to redo an intro, right?
Yeah, I need a new.
Welcome to
new
Maximum Driftcast. But I think we just need to new nicknames or something.
For real.
I mean, you're still a Spanish soccer mom.
I mean, I don't have my drift minivan hasn't been active for a little while, so maybe something else.
Yeah. Paco Taco Ibarra.
Yep, there you go. Let's see, Matt Sopa, Austin Kriegel, coming up and chased by the Scoundrels FC.
Yo, that FC is fire.
Andy Crutcher. That car is so beautiful. Have you seen it up close?
Yeah, I love that car.
Andy is a master of fabrication, CNC, attention to detail, and he did every little thing on that car. If you stop at his paddock, check out like the green Scoundrels FC up close, and then look, the Drift Riot boys like getting nice and tight with Austin Mata and DJ Mata.
Yep.
Mata and Mata.
Mata?
Yeah.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter which Mata.
Huh?
It don't matter which Mata.
Which Mata?
It do matter.
I'm confused.
I know, I am too.
No say.
TJ Hunt in the building, that Valvoline Nissan Z.
Leading a pro driver.
Oh, look at this. Yeah.
Train.
Well, you got TJ, you got Pollock, got that right there. Yoshihara, Turk, and then finally Adam LZ coming to a halt there on the inside.
But see, like that's a nice thing. Like they go all the way to the outside of the wall, trying to get all the fans pepper sprayed in awesomeness.
Right, getting the shrapnel
they
all
like
over your grill.
You know,
I know. I mean, that's what they came for.
Last night I was on the next to the wall, just like take some photos, and very last run. Here comes Matt Field, and he just kills it. No, actually, he kills it right by the wall, and just like drove, like slow,
really?
like, you know, like high-fiving everybody, and I was just like grab a little high five from his car.
Little field 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Little low 5 field.
Yeah.
Seeing Chris Forsberg out there, the La Fama Negra, followed by Ultimaniac. Were you there when he was firing off that thing last night?
I saw your videos.
Yeah, dude.
I think it's just like flame. Fire.
The stance of that thing is just so low, and if you haven't seen this vehicle up in person, talk about just some engineering. I mean, it's a tube chassis. It's like an RC car. Like the chassis is super low. They CNC developed this thing, and then they sent all the bars together, and they put it together like an erector set.
Wow.
So yeah, you got Jaeger out front and Chris Forsberg in the chase position right now.
8 people on track just in those 2 cars.
Yeah, right. Look at how slammed, dude. and the M isn't like raised at all either. So just the stance of that thing.
Yeah, it
is
just
really
shows
cool.
you like how low and well stands the car is. And he says he loves how it drives.
Oh, I'm sure. And we do know that it's capable of creating more horsepower. That VK56 up front has the old, Nissan V8 engine, and then under the hood of the pushed back, or I should say under the dash, is the VR, so the GTR engine.
Yeah, it's considered actually a mid-engine.
Yeah.
It's behind the strut bars. 1,400 horsepower.
Yep. And it's capable of doing more.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you watched the Hoonigan this versus that. He took it out there and just couldn't get traction. So it's better getting a running start.
Yeah. And it had Nick Gross and Fielding Shredder.
So is Gross? What's he doing with that vet? Like,
planning on possibly run more party events.
Okay.
Maybe get use of his pro license to do pro spec on it.
All right, there we go. Back at it again. Back at it again with the Falken boys.
That sounded like they were starting to rhyme.
No. It was more like back at it again with the white vans. Yeah, back at it again, back at it again, back at it again with the Falken boys. Back at it again with the Ryan turn. Waving to the fans, waving to the fans. That's what he does. Waving to the fans, waving to the fans. His hand, little field 5.
I told the fans there was going to be a rap battle. So
no, that's terrible. That is absolutely not going to happen.
It's not a battle if it's not one against the other.
Yeah, no, it's
just a session.
I feel like you'd be good at arm wrestling.
I used to.
Yeah?
I haven't done it in a long time.
Oh,
I'll wrestle you after the session. Right now?
Oh, God. Okay, you win.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Cletus McFarlane out there. There he is. Hell yeah, brother.
Hells yeah. And everybody loves him. Like, look at that. It's like, yeah, right here.
I know. I saw him yesterday. I said, what are you driving? I only drive the Fox body around here. Have fun with Bond. That's what I do. Dude, are you coming to Freedom Factory yet?
I haven't.
Dude, we got to get you out there, man. Freedom Factory, if you don't know, and just outside of Sarasota, Florida. Awesome facility. Have a great time out there. The 2.4 hours of lay mullets and the Freedom 500 and the Ranger Danger, and they got drift days out there. He's got so many different cars. So
I think it's great what he's doing, like the little NASCAR race with Crown Vics.
Oh yeah, Oof. And then Turk with the Camry. He was the only Camry.
He's a Toyota driver.
Yeah, he's Toyota, so contractually could not pilot a Crown Vic.
Crown Vic.
Yep.
But it's so cool because they actually, there is a Camry in NASCAR.
Yep.
I mean, Camry, well, there's nothing Camry about it. But
here's your boy.
Yep, Matt Topa.
Yep.
Back to the Fusion.
Back to the Fusion. Back at it again with the Fusion boys. Back at it again with the Falken boys. Back to the Fusion boys.
There you go. Leading the Falken team right there.
Dude.
Dye, JTP, Matt Field. Look at that right there.
Sopa on Europa, keeping it clean.
Man, and it's funny. That long car actually drives pretty good. It's like slow on the transitions.
Yep.
But I guess that makes it more predictable and easy to follow.
Yeah.
It looks like this. Obviously the guys behind him are absolute pros.
Yeah. Literally.
It's like, excuse me.
I mean, not Ryan. Literally, they're literally pros. Figuratively, and literally they are.
Yep.
The Benz in the building. Gears and Gasoline. Those guys.
Right.
Dude, I love their EK. I'm an old Honda dude.
You are
a Valvoline EK. Absolutely love that car.
And it's fast. I was watching it earlier. It's just passing people.
I mean, the car's fast. I don't know about Ben's driving, but. Yeah.
There you go, the Drift Riot team.
I predict a riot.
1, 2, 3 cars, 4, 5.
Solid.
Door to door.
Yes, door to door. Nice shot right there.
There you go, trying to get close.
Right, let's Manji back.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
the bumper.
ripping bumpers. Shred it till you dead it. Okay, barely used. Oh, the parrot's hyped. Cowboy parrot. My buddy has a pet parrot, and his name is Cowboy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That was him.
That was him.
Yeah.
Cowboy made a cameo. We got a cowboy. It's a parrot rodeo. You know what I mean? Apparently.
Apparently.
Dad jokes.
It's just the first session of the day.
Yeah, I haven't had a drink yet. See? Yeah, there we go.
You've seen African Gray.
You've seen the. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. You've seen the parrot that sings "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor."
What? Yeah.
Something's got to give. Yep.
Yeah.
Something's right.
Yeah. Now my girl's a bird expert.
Oh boy.
Her mom actually has an African Gray.
Parrots scare me.
Really?
Yeah,
They're
they just
not
don't show
scary.
any emotion. Supposedly, like, if they're going to bite you, their eyes go almond-shaped,
Okay.
and then they go after you. Oh, look
I know
at this.
There
Oh,
you
look
go.
at this. Oh, it's
Hell
adorable.
yeah, brother.
Little blue badge party here.
There you go.
We got the Ford Fusion and Cleese McFarland driving that Drift Fox body.
Nice.
Do you know that was one of the first, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was like the first Fox body drift car built even before the old Drift Patrol that, gosh, his name is
that was his Drift Alliance car back in the day, wasn't
that
it?
car? No.
Well, I mean, not that
Never piloted a
one.
Fox body in FD.
Wait, no, not an FD.
There was a dude that
There's like-
competed in FD, was Drift Patrol. Look at throwing
really?
the horns here. I mean, actions speak louder than words, and obviously these guys are just out here having fun. Jaeger. Yager. I always butcher
Jaeger.
it. Jaeger, Yager,
Forsberg told me
Jaeger.
straight up, he's like, Jaeger. Don't say it, Jagger.
Yep.
He doesn't like it.
I know, Jaeger. He's got the moves like Jaeger, though.
He has the moves like
Yeah.
Jaeger.
Well, because it's like my buddy who's actually competing in the Olympics, Jagger Eaton.
Oh.
And then you could say like Jagermeister. So right, it's just
I
like,
always call it Jaegermeister, so I don't know.
So yeah. But you don't really speak English. You speak Paco.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
So
I gotta pass.
have we talked about this, that you look like professional golfer John Rahm?
You sent
dude.
You tagged
Pat,
me on it, I think.
Yeah.
Or
Dude,
Forsberg
you
tagged
look
me
just
on
like it. No,
No,
Pat,
you did.
Pat Gentile. Pat of he's the race director, race ops.
But I think
Performance Drift.
either you or Forsberg tagged me like, oh, congratulations on your title or something like that. Like,
Right? Yeah.
I think it was you.
Yeah, so if you ever want to see Paco, just look up John Rahm, R-A-H-M. He looks just like him.
He's a little more bulky.
I mean,
there you go.
I mean, you're not a fitness model or anything. You know what I mean? Not that you're, obese like myself, dad bod.
I go to the gym twice a week.
I haven't been in a while.
Just so I can eat like I do.
Exactly.
Matthew Dale, S14.5.
Yep.
Rocking our
Yeah, so I've tried to eliminate just calling out which S chassis are, because I'm like, S14, carry the 9, and then kids just call me out. They're like, dude, it's S13.4. Like, ugh. You know, and now you've confused me with your 2F performance rear ends.
Well, here's the problem. Like, now people are telling us what they want to name our kids. It's like, no, it's not an S14.5 rear. It's an S14.9. It's like,
yeah,
what does that even mean?
I don't even know where the 9 comes from.
Yeah.
Was there a 9er in there? Yeah.
Is it like fractions?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's just like BMW. They messed up like calling their chassis. Like it was good. M3, M5, M1, and now it's like, okay, if it's even number, it's two-door. If it's odd,
yeah.
See, I forgot. I forgot even what happened right now. So Cletus McFarland out there still shredding it up.
Having a good time.
Paco, have you gotten a ride yet? Are you gonna?
No. I might.
That's right. You think that?
I'm married to my job, Jared.
I know. I'm not. I'm getting a divorce. I'm out of here. I quit.
Go get a ride along.
All right. So again, trying to create the FOMO here. If you're not here, you are with us when we are present. Paco Ibarra, Jared DeAnda here, calling some action and just create some dialogue about how fantastic this event is. Remember, there is Gingerman later on this year, and are you planning on coming out for that one, bud?
I'm planning on it, yes, sir.
Always. So the best thing is, if you can remember, landing in Chicago, and then
looking for Kevin.
Looking for Kevin, always at Chicago. You can never find him.
Yeah.
But also going to 3 Floyds Brewing and then going over. That's en route to South Haven.
En route to South Haven, yeah. That was good. You showed me that place.
Yep.
Pretty good.
And don't open beers in the car when they're really, do you remember this now? It sprayed all over the ceiling. It was raining beer. Hallelujah.
It's raining beer.
Hallelujah. It's raining beer.
That's so awesome.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. The car and it was like, and it just reeked
for the whole weekend.
Oh gosh, that Mata?
The Aston Martin right there.
I
think it's like second in points and prospect.
That's right.
He's just here partying.
Dude.
He has a race to win next weekend.
Yep. No.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll see them back at Worldwide Technology Raceway Park, just outside of St. Louis.
Nice.
It's technically Illinois, but it's just easier.
Illinois.
Yeah. For all you French-speaking fans, or Tarjay. Dai Yoshihara out there.
Rudy Hansen behind. 2 different S chassis, but S chassis at the end. It's cool when you can see like the evolution of the same car over the years.
If you were going to build, in which you are, how's your Stingray coming?
It's like 90% done the fabrication. My fabricator goes to Alaska for a couple months every year to fish.
Okay.
So he's coming back and finishing the fabrication.
Nice.
And then just wiring. And
2J, right?
Yeah, that 2JZ Corvette.
2J Stingray.
Yep.
2J Ray. Can we call it 2J Ray?
Sure.
2J Ray Ray?
You're the king of the nickname, so whatever you come up with, I'll just
I like
go
2J Ray.
2J Ray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's like, right? It's a Stingray.
Yeah.
And it's 2J.
It's a 2J
2J Ray.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking of Ray.
What? Great segue.
You're right.
Great segue. The tallest man. He might challenge. I mean, it's a battle of the giraffes. Josh Robinson and Cletus McFarland. I want to see those two tall drinks of water stand next to each other.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, because Josh is definitely on the like here in Colorado.
He's on what, the tall spectrum? Is that what you're going to say?
What?
You're like, he's on the what? He's on the...
No, I was going to say, like, I don't know. Being so high here in Colorado, he probably has a harder time breathing.
He gets nosebleeds. Yeah, he's at a higher elevation. Even here in Colorado, he gets
also
nosebleeds.
Jacked.
Yeah.
He's like...
Okay, relax.
Built like a
all right,
oak.
Well, I mean, look, you're in a relationship, Paco. You can't just... frivolously talk about like that.
I'm just letting the ladies who are watching, he's out there and he's single.
Is he single, ready to mingle?
I think he is.
I'm not for certain. Not for certain.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Cars all over the place.
Oh boy, he's going wide there.
That's Casey Cole.
Using all the course, like you said, you pay for the whole track, but you're only going to use the edge.
Right. Carry kits. Whoa. Thrown down.
Thrown down.
No.
Oh, no.
What was Kevin?
Kevin, no. Oh, is it, get the shot. Get the shot.
If you
get up.
If you remember,
get up,
I think
Droney.
it was last year.
Oh, get up, Droney. Oh,
last year, Odi Bakshis killed Sam's drone in this track.
Oh, boy.
What am I going to do? No, it's burning.
No. Oh, he's burning.
No.
This drone is on fire. Drone down.
Let's hope they can go get it before.
Boy.
Where's Odi?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. No.
Kevin.
Drone. Droney.
Oh, no! Oh, it's gone.
Drone smash.
Oh,
bro.
Well, that's not going to fly again.
Oh, R.I.P. Drone Town.
The last flight of the drone.
That was the last star. Now we have the last starfighter. Now we only have
the last
down
drone
to one.
fighter.
Oh.
It looks so sad right there.
Yeah. Oh, just chilling.
Well, I heard there's 2 drones, so yeah.
Oh man. Hopefully, R.I.P. I feel like we need to play taps. Right.
Hi, Larry.
There's Larry Chen. Larry's actually on the outside of the track, but hey, thank you guys for joining us here. Next on track, what do we have next? We got lunch, and then we got HPD Advanced Instructor, we got Intermediate Beginner, and more track battle. Drift comes back at 4:40. Thank you so much, Paco. Appreciate it.
Jared. Appreciate you as well, man.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a seltzer, kiddo. Let's go.
Let's
do it. Thanks for joining us out here, Pikes Peak's International Raceway, playing host to the one, the only Alpine Horizon Festival, curated by GRIDLIFE.
Thank you.
GRIDLIFE Drift is brought to you by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. And by Falken Tire. Falken Tires, competition-proven performance. MOMO, the official safety partner of GRIDLIFE. BC Racing, the official suspension of GRIDLIFE Drift. Highly engineered custom coilovers that put you in control of every driving condition. Alpine Horizon is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Airlift Performance. Airlift Performance lets you get low and live your life on air. Check out all their newest products, including Builder Series shocks, threaded manifolds, and flow air.